the last film that we're going to be covering tonight is a film that I just got done watching a couple hours ago. And this is The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Another film that got a lot of hate.
Yeah. And this film is the second Dracula film we've gotten this year? Well, involving the character of Dracula.
Yeah, Renfield was the first one. And now this one.
I don't believe I did a review for Renfield on my channel.
No, I don't think so.
So saying this right now, The Last Voyage of the Demeter is better than Renfield. I am getting this quick review of Renfield out of the way. Nick Cage was very good in the role for when he's in it. Nicholas Hoult was very good in the role. The CGI blood might have been a little bit much. I thought it was lacking in story, and the comedy did not work for me overall. But while saying that the bad CGI blood was overly done at times, when I enjoyed it, man, did it have a ton of fun and bloody violence in it, especially in that one, but it was the apartment scene where he literally rips a guy apart and rips his arm off and thinking like ninjism and stuff like this. Whoo, that was fun. This film here, the crew of the merchant ship Demeter attempts to survive the ocean voyage from Carpathia to London as they are stalked each night by a merciless presence on board the ship. I wanted to see this in theaters. My theater did not get this one. Looking on Letterboxd right now, this is a very mixed film. Now, we didn't talk a whole ton about this one, so this will be fresh for both of us.
Yeah. Wait.
This film is better than Renfield because it takes itself seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It expands upon a small story, a small portion of the original book of Dracula, the smallest portion, which takes place on the ship. I believe it's the smallest portion of the book. I haven't read it. I'm just going off of what I know from things I've heard and everything else.
Yeah.
What this film does so well is it makes you feel for the characters. You get connected to these characters so well, even though there are a couple characters who are kind of wasted. But I really love the character of Toby. Toby, I don't know if it was... See, I don't know if it was because I loved his last two films, Cobweb and Come On, Come On.
Mm-hmm.
But this kid doesn't disappoint me yet. I still haven't seen, or have I seen the current war? I can't remember if I've seen the current war or not. According to Letterboxd, I have, but I don't remember it. But I enjoy this kid. He's freaking phenomenal. Woody Norman is phenomenal as Toby. He delivers a very well done, well written character here of Toby. And the captain here is very likable. He's not too over the top, but he gives enough to his character to make you feel bad when something terrible happens. Not gonna spoil what happens, that you really feel bad for him. But if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All you gotta do is watch the trailer and you know how that one ends.
But our lead guy here, Clemens is very likable. The actor who plays him is phenomenal here. He gives his all to this role. I thought he made some very interesting choices for the character. The blood and gore was not over the top like it was in Renfield, right? But it was over the top in just the right ways. Because it needed to be a little bit over the top because, let's be honest, this is a dark film. Not in story, but in like the lighting. It's a very dark film.
Oh yeah.
This movie really does get a little too dark at some points, but when you see the blood, especially when this one guy, he's on the ship and he sees Dracula crawling out from underneath the stairs. One, the makeup on the character Dracula is just phenomenal. The practical effects on Dracula, great. The blood can be over the top at times, but man, I just had a fun time with this film. It's a little overly long at almost 2 hours, I think. I thought you could have trimmed the fat a little bit. Maybe cut this by about a good 10-15 minutes, and you would have had a nicely, tightly written and better paced film. But overall, I enjoyed The Last Voyage of the Demeter a lot more than I thought I would. And I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. And on my grading scale, that's going to add up to a very good B+. It's been a very good week for films because I've given a lot of the same scores, and my weakest one was a Christmas film from GAC Family, which wasn't all that awful either.
Yeah.
But what did you think of The Last Voyage of the Demeter? And then we will go into what we're going to be covering next week as of what we know right now.
Well, definitely almost didn't watch it. I was tempted to just skip on it because I'd heard that it was boring, that it wasn't really good, and so, and for me, these kind of period pieces type deals can be hit and miss because to me this is a period piece. But I know when I got to my Walmart, I had like one Blu-ray copy left. I was like, okay, let's do it because I know you wanted to see it too. So I thought I'll get it and hopefully I like it. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think that the story, I mean, I think they definitely could have shortened it a little bit. They could have had it to where some of the things happened more in one night, maybe, than have it over multiple nights. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've never read the book. I don't know if that's maybe how it happens in the book, and they just went straight from that. So I don't know if there's really a way they could trim it without completely changing everything from the story. But I could definitely feel the runtime a little bit, and the gore in this, it definitely you could tell was CGI, which you say over the top kind of CGI. Kind of wish they could have gave us practical effects on that, but I guess they spent it all on Dracula and making that costume. But and it definitely, like you said, they definitely make you feel for the characters. They make you really like some of them, make you sort of hate some of them in a way. But it was definitely a nice surprise, and I kind of figured out. I kind of knew in a way how it would end. I kind of figured how it was going to end. I'm trying not to give away any spoilers for it, but
go ahead for it, man. This film isn't as new as Five Nights. So go ahead and spoil it if you want to, because I know you didn't do a video on this one. So go and spoil it if you want one. Up to you.
I kind of knew who would survive, and I sort of wonder, could they do a sequel on this? Because they kind of end you where maybe they could do one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, since it's referencing towards the book, how that would work out, because I've never read the book. I don't know if they could go straight into Dracula from there. But it will be interesting. Plus, this movie probably didn't do well enough to even garner a sequel. Now, if this was like Blumhouse that did it, they would probably give it a sequel because he just throws money around like crazy.
Yeah.
But for this one, I think it won't get one, which is fine. I mean, it ends where you don't necessarily need one. But yeah, it was a nice surprise. And I definitely get what you're saying about it being dark at times with it, because with it being set at night and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And being on a ship, it's not really lit well. Being on a old wooden ship like it was.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of research here. I'm going to look at what the budget was for this thing. This thing was $45 million, okay?
Okay.
It cost $45 million to make. This thing bombed. It bombed hard. Worldwide, this made $21 million.
I know watching it, I thought to myself, I was like, this doesn't seem like a movie that would attract people to theaters. This felt like a straight to Blu-ray or a streaming film, just by what it is. I mean, this type of movie, it just doesn't scream theater worthy of a film. Like, I don't know. That's just me.
Now, if this would have gone to Peacock, do you think that this should have gone straight to there? Because I believe this came out around the same time as like Strays and Blue Beetle and stuff like that. But what really hurt this film, really, is we had the Barbenheimer thing. That took over like for a solid 5 weeks. And this came out 3 weeks afterwards. So Barbie and Oppenheimer were still continually going at it. And whatever film came out, we knew it wasn't going to do well because, one, Barbie was so beloved. And Oppenheimer was so beloved. And I really like both films a lot. They're in my top 3 of the year. This film, I didn't think it was going to do well. And looking at the box office for Renfield, that didn't do very well at all. Renfield had $26 million. So I don't know if it's a Dracula problem, if they don't want a Dracula film now or what. But I don't know why these two films flopped as hard as they did. Because Renfield, I'm not saying it's a bad film, because it's definitely not a bad film. And going off of quality, you can't really speak on the box office when it comes to the quality of a film.
Yeah.
You can go off of the marketing and the interest of the film. So with this one, I don't know if they're going to look at this and say, we don't want a Dracula film unless you're going to do one once you do the new Universal Monsters Verse thing, which we're going to eventually get another Dracula film based off of that character. But I don't know if we're going to get another sub-story involving the character now, because we've had 2 that have just bombed.
Yeah. I mean, for me, Voyage of the Demeter, I gave it a 4 out of 5. And I don't know with the Dracula films. I mean, vampire films, it seems like, is a genre that is not hot right now for most people. And they're trying to bring it back, I think, building it to that Universal level. And we'll see, because, I mean, we had the Invisible Man to start everything off with that one. But we'll see how they go. I mean, it's kind of like with the characters now in the movies, they want a ghost face. They want a Chucky. They want more bigger characters that reach out to everybody. And maybe just Dracula doesn't reach out to everybody. I mean, maybe it's just a character that people are just like, yeah, vampires, we see it all the time type deal, that it's not like for a lot of people, it's not like a namesake, big, huge horror villain probably for some people.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. I mean, I love vampire films when they're done right. I've seen some that was not done right at all with, I think it's that movie Slayers with Abigail Breslin in it. So I've seen the bad ones, but I've seen plenty of good ones, but they're not a hot ticket right now. It seems like nobody wants that. They want Ghostface, they want Michael, they want Jason, whatever, Art the Clown, which, I mean, hey, I'll take them too. I love all them too.
No more art. No.
I'm excited for the Terrifier 3 next year just as much as the next man, and Scream 6 or 7, whatever we're on now.
Yeah.
But I think it may be a little. We may not see a vampire theater title until probably they do the Universal one, because, and if they do, I think they just need to send it straight to streaming. I think that's what should have happened with Renfield, and I think that's what it should have happened with this one. It's just straight to streaming, especially with Voyage, because that came out, like you said, during the Barbie craze, and Oppenheimer craze. So I think a lot of those films suffered because of that, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's great for the Barbie film and the Oppenheimer film.
Yeah.
But when it's causing other movies to struggle and not pull in the audience, it's kind of hurting it in a way as well, hurting the studios in a way as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because we just got through having a time where there was like nothing in the theater. And now we're getting stuff in the theater, and you had 2 movies that was pretty much killing the competition.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what they choose to do, but I say send it to streaming next time. Don't do theaters, at least right now. Unless you put it in October. Maybe people will see it more in October instead of summer, spring, whatever, early fall. Just do it around October. Then maybe people will go see it for Halloween.
Do you hear that, Disney? That's what you should have done with Haunted Mansion.